Hi, I'm Evan, and right now we are going to discuss the effects the Industrial Revolution had on government, economy, and social thinking. We will go over the key aspects and leading figures that sparked the start of laissez-faire capitalism, utopian socialism, and positivism. Laissez-faire. Literally, it means leave it be. When you pair it with the idea of capitalism, what you get is an economy that is free to do what it would usually, without having government restrictions pounding down on it. But first, what is capitalism? Capitalism is an economic and social system first implemented by French and American economic and political figures like M. Legendre and Adam Smith, a well-known socialism endorser, in which the idea of private property and capital, or money, is stressed. In contradiction to socialism, capitalism instills the idea of each person owning something, and having that thing belong to them and them only, unless of course they decide to share it. Capitalism also has an economic side that reflects the ideas of a free market system. This system just means that anyone, despite social or financial position, if they work for it, can gain power and wealth. Capitalistic economies recognize the importance of a profit motive, or the drive of the consumer to buy a product.
We needed weenies. Mr. Brown had weenies. It's as simple as that. You might argue about his prices. Anyway, Eleanor did. But after all, he has a right to earn something for the goods and services he supplies, and he does supply services as well as goods.
This drive is the fundamental power for any economy, and it allows for a flow of money across an entire social structure. But it comes at a price. Supply and demand can rise and fall depending on the consumer and the producer. This economical roller coaster, so to speak, can either make a country wealthier and more powerful, or it can suck all the money and create an economic depression. A laissez-faire capitalistic economy would prevent government interference at all, allowing for a market to flow freely with both rises and falls. Although this way of utilizing capitalism sounds a little iffy, it actually was pretty sound and is still implemented in the economies of today. Utopian socialism was developed by both Charles Fourier and Robert Owen. Utopian socialism is an economic theory based on the premise that voluntary surrender by capital of the means of production would bring about an end to poverty and unemployment. So basically, if everybody did the same amount of work and lived as a community, there would be no poverty and no unemployment. Utopian socialists would set up experimental communities in an attempt to apply the scientific method to a social community. One of the most famous utopian communities was New Harmony in Indiana, set up by Robert Owen. New Harmony crumbled after Owen's business partner ran off with all its profits. One of the main ideas of utopian socialism was that all human beings were free to do and think what they wanted instead of being destined or forced to do anything. Positivism in the Industrial Revolution was derived from the minds of Enlightenment thinkers such as Pierre-Simon Laplace and Emile Durkheim, but the ideas that funded it can be traced back all the way to ancient Greece. Positivism can be summed up in a couple of points. 1. The goal of inquiry is to explain and predict, meaning that the point of asking questions is to be able to explain phenomena and laws and predict them. 2. Knowledge is testable. Finally, 3. Science does not necessarily mean common sense. Positivists in the Industrial Revolution before and after used these fundamentals to question and judge societies so as to fix them and better them. It was a very scientific way to work around government and society, and although it might have worked and have been efficient, it was anything but accepted. During and after the Industrial Revolution, positivists claimed that if their way of science had been implemented during or before the Industrial Revolution, the negative effects such as displacement, poverty, and inequity would have been avoided, while the positive effects remained, such as industrialization, the gaining of wealth for the government. Now that we have gone over these three ideas, how do they connect to the people of the Industrial Revolution? For starters, capitalism appealed to many in that it offered equal chance for everyone to gain. Positivism, although very unorthodox, could be implemented and have positive effects on different social structures and government structures of the Industrial Revolution. Finally, utopian socialist communities could help solve many of the issues countries faced, like poverty and unemployment. All of these ideas can be both beneficial and hurtful to post-revolutionary countries, and were used and are still used even today.